everyone. This is Ayer Conservation Commission meeting. It is Thursday, March 14th, 2024. Commissioners in attendance are Jen Amaya as member, George Bacon, member, Jess Gugino, member clerk, Mark Phillips, vice chair, myself, John Schmullenberger as chair, and Heather Hampson as our conservation agent. It's been a while since we've been here, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm. 3 weeks.
3 weeks, yep. Do we have confirmation of agenda?
Yeah, there's no changes.
Motion to approve the agenda as written.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes unanimously. Do we have approval of meeting minutes for February 22nd, 2024? Everyone had an opportunity to check out the minutes? Any changes? You all right there?
Yes.
Need a lozenge?
Cough drop?
Cough drop?
What flavor?
Cherry or honey?
Either one's good. Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes for February 22nd, 2024 as written?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Passes unanimously.
And Heather. So I don't have to make any changes.
Awesome.
The Rico hates me.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Is it still doing the thing, scanning?
No, I don't have any issue. I haven't tried since they moved it, so I can't say that.
They've moved it?
Yes. Our mailroom is now, the copy machine is now in where the mailroom is, and they made it bigger. So we have a whole like copy room and mailroom all in one.
Okay.
This is the time in our meeting for public input. If there's anyone out there who is not on the agenda that would like to make a comment, ask a question? No? Nobody ever does. And we'll move on.
The moment we take it off the agenda, though.
We'll get swamped.
Yeah.
First item this evening is a public hearing, notice of intent, DEP file number to be determined. And this is on 3rd Street, construction of a single-family residential dwelling. So we're gonna just open it under the Wetland Protection Act and under the Ayer Wetland bylaws and just continue it until our next meeting?
Yes, as of 4:30, the DEP hadn't submitted any, hasn't given a DEP number yet, submitted their comments. So Brandon Ducharme from David Ross, I can't remember where he's from again, requested a continuance to the March 28th
March
meeting.
28th. Okay.
So, and just so you guys know too, going forward with this, it is going to be before the planning board for site plan and stormwater permits as well, and that'll open at their next meeting on the 26th.
26th of
March, yeah.
Okay, all right. Motion to continue the public hearing notice of intent for 3rd Street Aho Development until our next meeting, which will be March 28th.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. It's March 28th, 2024. Should be specific.
Did I give you my agenda when I gave you the
I
minutes?
don't know if you did, but I have another one, so here, have another.
Next item this evening is a request for determination. Peroni Park, Belay Street, Nashua River Watershed Association, native seedling planting along Grove Pond. Is that you, sir?
Yes, it is.
Please join us.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Good. My name's Ryan. I'm the new Landing Climate Associate with the Nashua River Watershed Association.
What's your full name?
Henricus, HENNRIKUS. And so I'm here today to present. Oh, thank you. To basically just talk about our project over at the park and to see if you guys will require any sort of wetlands regulation with this. So I've got a prepared presentation. If I could hook up to the TV.
Oh,
or if
yeah,
you
I
prefer-
can turn that on, sorry.
Oh, thank you. And do you guys prefer that I email it to somebody who's already attached, or is there a little?
There
somewhere-
is a USB on
Oh,
there.
wonderful,
I
okay.
can,
Thank you so much.
yeah. I apologize, I was late this evening, so.
Oh, that's all right.
Oh, and I have to look up the passcode every time. Oh, yeah.
I learned a new word. Dibble.
Do you?
Oh yes, I'm quite familiar
Dibble.
with the dibble sticks.
Dibble sticks.
All right, do you have a?
Yes, I've got a little port on the side here. If you want to.
Shindy.
Oh, yeah, no, it's gotta go through that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Let me
I
see.
mean, you could email it.
It's a brand new laptop, so let me see. I'm not as familiar with the
Is that
Dells.
you email it to me, but I don't know if I can get it on email from you.
Well, let's see. Thank you guys for bearing with me. Would you mind entering your email and then I can send it over to you and see?
Yeah, then we'll see if we can get into it.
Yeah. All right.
I'm coming over, George.
To do this as well, I'll also, I think, want to get on the Wi-Fi.
Boys and girls.
Did you say you need our Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
That's what it should be.
Oh, it's welcome to Ayer. It's the the W and the A and then the letter 2, I mean the number 2.
Okay.
It's right there. I could do this for now, so we know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I could. It's a very short presentation. Is most of the visual aid I think everyone will need. If you want to zoom out just a tiny bit more, that'd be perfect. All right. So I'll just read off my slides to not waste everyone's time. Okay, so the project that we're proposing is the restoring the riparian buffers. It's part of a broader project we're doing to restore riparian buffers in the National River watershed. There are a number of these sorts of projects that are going to be focused on getting rid of invasive species within a 200-foot buffer zone of bodies of water, mostly streams and rivers in the area, and ponds like this pond here, and also replanting some areas that are a little light on vegetation. So we're going to be, for this project, focusing on planting native trees and shrubs, and there's also a small section of Phragmites as well that's sort of off to the bottom left near one of those baseball diamonds that we may also get cut as well. This is going to be a volunteer project and it's funded by the U.S. Forest Service, so no cost to the town at all. All right. So as you guys all probably know, riparian buffer zones are important for handling erosion. The trees and plants there are great for handling pollutants and stormwater runoff, helps deal with flood damage and reduce it, creates habitat for wildlife, and we think that this sort of strip along the southern edge of the park there, which already has some trees, is a great place to go out and plant some seedlings. So we'll be providing the seedlings ourselves, as well as all of the planting labor free of charge. Like I said, most of the trees and shrubs we're going to be focusing on are, they're all native, and they include silky dogwoods, silver maples, elderberries, and northern red oaks. We, like I said, also might be going after that Phragmites as well. And the process, which we were talking about earlier, I think Jess alluded to, involves dibble sticks, which I wish I had a picture I could show you. But basically, it's a little pole like this with a tiny area for you to stick your, like a little pole off to the side to stick your foot. And it's sort of a wedge, and you stick it in about a foot to a foot and a half down, and then sort of go like this to create about a 2-inch wide on either side hole that, again, goes down about 1.5 feet. It's minimally disruptive for when it comes to soil as opposed to like a larger spade or shovel. And then from, once you plant a seedling in this, the soil, you just sort of kick it back in and make sure that the ground's compressed enough to not lose anything to erosion. We're going to be using all bare root little seedlings for this, about 120 or so. The area is not that big, but mostly if you I can go up to the front.
Yeah, just don't touch it.
Oh yeah, I won't. We're going to be focusing on these areas here, especially right here along the walking path by that baseball diamond there, and then up through here, about within that 200-foot bound of the water. And then, as I was saying earlier, the Phragmites is somewhere right around here.
Yeah. There is and you can't see it now, but there's knotweed that comes up in somewhere along, I think, this area here or over in here.
Well, a lot of our stuff in Devon's is going to be focused on knotweed remediation as well. So if there's knotweed there, part of the volunteer day that we're going to be hosting
it's not a lot. And so I was like, when this project, I was thinking of doing something similar to this. So when you guys reached out to me, I was like, oh, I was going to do that because the area of knotweed is literally just a small, maybe 10-foot section. I go, myself, I could take care of that, and it wouldn't be a big deal. And I can say I did something. And then I got approached by them. I was like, oh, well, this is a whole thing that they can do a lot more than I can.
That sounds perfect. I mean, so we're hoping to rally some volunteers as well as a couple of our staff to go out there for some Saturday in April. We have yet to land on an exact date, but sometime in April to go and I guess cut that knotweed, cut some of the Phragmites, and do some of the planting. Let's see what else. I've got a map here.
So are the plantings expected to be between the walking path and the water edge?
Yep, and I've got a couple images I can maybe pass around as well for folks to see. To better visualize what that space between the walking path looks like.
In your application?
The plantings are.
Yeah, the map is, but unfortunately not these images.
The pictures, I got those way back when.
Then make this a little bigger for you. So that's the Phragmites there. This area here would be subject to a little bit of planting, obviously not by the too close to the bench. This area here, and then sort of just along the water, as you can see, it's there's already some mature trees there, and a lot of the training for the day on top of teaching people how to use the dibble stick and how to cut some of the knotweed and Phragmites would be about avoiding any existing roots or anything so as not to damage the mature trees that are already in the area. Okay. Yep, and then you can see it's a fairly thin strip, but with these tiny little seedlings, they are rarely over a foot to a 1.5 feet in length.
But over time,
they will grow. The survivorship rate for these is relatively, for trees of this age. I've done planting projects like this. It's pretty low, so the strongest will make it somewhere. We're hoping, survivorship of 15% or so if we can get that.
Okay. Because I know I mentioned the amount when I saw that the number. The director of the Parks Department was eyes light up and said, we'll make sure we keep some of the with the bench where the bench. I think it's more. Is there only one bench here? There might be another one to keep some of the vista view. From the perimeter. Yeah. That's the point of it.
We could,
and then also make sure we are doing the planting just.
We could just sort of do a conical area that we mark off and say, nobody plant over here. And I think a lot of our staff are going to be the ones actually making the small dibble stick holes. And so that will be sure to coordinate amongst ourselves and be like, all right, nobody plants.
I told them, we'll make sure we're keeping, an area or two that keeps the view from the park. That's the point of having that, not have anything right now. But while we're still meeting the idea of the project to have that planting here to help catch some of the rainwater, because everything does slope straight to the pond from the park.
In those areas by the bush, can lower plantings be placed in there?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So there are a couple different species, as I alluded to
we can do
earlier.
that. I think we just want to make sure we're.
Yeah, the smaller shrubs we can focus on.
Was it low bush blueberry or something like that? Right?
Yeah. We can look at we have a bunch of nurseries that we're in contact with in the area, and we can reach out and look for nurseries as well. I think that would be within the scope of the grant project that we're doing this through. So I'll talk to our project officer about that. The rest of this presentation was just a couple pictures. I can pass those around. It's merely just the view of the lake from that walk there. So if anyone wants to take a look at that, I can pass the laptop over to you. But if not, let me know if you have any questions.
I don't think any of us need to see the view. We've been out
Probably
there.
all seen it 1,000 times before, yeah.
How'd you come to Ayer?
Well, so it's funny. I grew up in Pepperell originally, off of the corner of Shirley Street and 119, and then I sort of moved away for a while for school and work, and then I saw that there was an opening for the National River Watershed Association. I'd been in there as a kid a long time ago, and my area of work has all had to do with invasive remediation and habitat restoration and stuff like that, and I thought it was a perfect fit. Yeah.
Anyone have any questions?
Just one curious one. So riparian tends to refer to rivers.
Yes.
This being a pond.
Yes. So
Is this-
riparian. Oh, sorry. Go.
Or just because this used to be a stream.
Yes. So I imagine that the like most ponds around here, this probably isn't a kettle pond. I believe it's connected to some of the streams in the area, and so riparian is basically a term for any ecotone, sort of the transition between two ecosystems or biological communities that abuts a stream, river, or pond that has moving water going through it.
Which we know, because that comes from all the way over here.
Oh yeah. Do you know the name of this one here? Is that Willow or Wood?
This one?
Yeah,
Don't.
that's all right.
Yeah. Back
Is that
over here.
Bowers Brook?
Is it? It could be. The one that comes behind the Maxon's property.
I think it's Bowers.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Did you have any thoughts on plantings other than what?
No,
They've given us?
no, I don't. I saw the list and I was like, oh, that sounds good. The only condition when I brought this to the Parks Commission for their approval to bless it, because obviously it's their land, they had the condition, which I shared with National Forest Association, that the timing of it to not affect any of their activities at the park.
Yeah.
I think we're still early enough in the season that they're not starting baseball or softball or anything yet. But we have to just make sure we coordinate with them to ensure we're not affecting any of their activities at the park.
We had spoken about that as
Yeah.
well within the organization about, we if we got a lot of volunteers out there, we don't
Yeah.
want them, getting hit with foul balls or anything.
Yeah.
So we're, we're gonna look at your guys' schedule. If there is a schedule for the park or for local Little League or anything, and try to coordinate around those for whatever we can end up planning on.
Okay.
But I think I do know it's just for you guys know, as part of we're talking about the park, the playground equipment has been delivered to the park already.
Really?
So they'll be working and hopefully having that, I think, installed in the next couple, I don't know, month or two. So that'll be completed hopefully for the summer. So along with this project too, it'll be like a whole new park.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Ernie Gerton published pictures of the
Oh, did
big
he?
trucks with the playground equipment arriving.
What sort of protection will these saplings have?
So we are, I believe, going to be on the hook for a little while for taking care of the early post-installation maintenance for them. So we're going to, on top of the planting themselves, come out, water them, make sure that they're not being chewed. If that's the case, maybe we can come out back again and put a little cage around a couple of them for them.
Yeah, I guess, how do we know the Parks Department is to cut them down?
Oh, no. Yeah, that's,
that's right.
yeah,
People walking,
we'll make sure, we'll see if,
That's what I'm wondering, are we flagging these at all, or?
I was going to say, I want to see if in the budget we could, on our end, maybe put up a little, just chicken wire, like low fence or something with a sign.
And then I'm sure, I can talk with Jeff Thomas, the Parks Director, about if there's any sort of signage that they might have or anything that they could put up or just notify, obviously as it's going forward of all the activities on the park, as a, big new plantings type of thing for the path. I'm sure we can figure out some sort of signage we could make to put out there.
But you put 120. Yeah. They're going to be sprinkled around.
They
will
are,
be, yes.
but it is
How are you gonna
basically
know which
the more or
ones?
less when you look at the park, it's the perimeter path, and then that goes up between the playground and the other field, and everything else is more wooden. So if the plantings are going further back, unless you have kids really playing out in the outfield and hopping the fence, I don't think that end of the field, this end of the field's going to be of an issue because this is all fenced in here. So any plantings along here, I don't think are going to be a concern. I think your only concern would be in these areas here.
Yeah.
What about
Because-
like
Yeah, I mean,
crime
Because in the park, I mean, the
Grass
path
cutting,
goes
that's
up
kind of
here.
fine.
They don't do that here. They stop at the path. They might do some weed whacking here, but again, if the Parks Department knows this is going in, they would just tell their people not to do that.
With like, police tape or, crime scene type tape?
I mean, we could probably put some
That'd be
sort of.
easy.
Yeah, so I'll talk to Jeff about what we can do to kind of like just fence it off for,
Okay. Yeah, I mean, just like we were talking about where the bench was, I assume they whacked there to kind of keep it at bay.
yeah, I don't know, but I'll
Yeah.
talk to Jeff about it.
Some signage would be fantastic.
I think
No,
if he has some sort of road, like, I don't know, like the stakes, just cheap signs we could just handwrite or whatever and put there, or maybe just tape it off. And I'll go down and meet with him and brainstorm some ideas of what we can do to just protect him from.
If you think of the wetland flagging, right, that's
Yeah.
supposed to biodegrade, can those be attached to the saplings maybe?
Yes, absolutely. There's a lot. So if we have some of the flagging tape, you can even write on them as well. The only issue that I see is that these saplings are very, very small. It's to put them on there, they'd be low to the ground, one, and two, you wouldn't want to cover too much of the bark for basically gas exchange purposes. But I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we could get the word out.
Yeah.
Maybe let the
Okay.
Parks Department know. Maybe so we can get a couple signs out there, just as a project in place or something. I'm sure we could figure out something to put out.
Yeah, periodic posts or something.
Yeah,
along that
and
side
then
of
just
the-
along that path, and then as long as the parks people working know, and DP, I don't know if DPW goes out there at all. As long as they know, I don't think it'll be an issue.
Don't put one in front of our sign.
yeah.
Oh,
Grove Pond.
yeah, Grove Pond, yeah. Oh, and then also we'll make sure I let Lori Nearing know for their chestnut pull. If they do that again this summer, along that driveway there, that they know those saplings and stuff are there too. So we'll make sure we put something on that side.
Is there a boat launch right there?
Yeah, well, it's not a great boat
Kinda,
launch.
yeah.
That's another goal of mine is to update and get that
Oh, nice.
an actual like
Do you
boat
guys have
launch in.
Big problem with water chestnut in the.
Yes, they do. They've actually been working 2 years on hand pulling, and it's made a large difference, huge difference
Did that in college actually for a while.
On,
That's why, on the Concord.
on this side
More
of
than
the
welcome to
pond.
join.
I was just
I
gonna
would-
say.
if there's
All
I'd
on this
come up
side.
with
It's
it, yeah.
all on this side.
It's probably about 20.
Yeah, I would. That sounds fantastic. Yeah,
Yeah, they're all all the chestnuts are more or less focused on this end, so they have to like canoe across
Yeah,
for the most part. But and it was all in here, and they basically remediated this one in 1 year.
yeah. Those little coves where it's shallow and not very fast moving, and they just
Yeah.
go wild for.
So, so they've been doing that work, but I'll make sure that, the word gets out, whether it's Facebook posts and stuff too, that this work's going on. So
Okay.
we can
Thank
reach
you.
out to as many people as possible. Do they know that this work is happening and everything? If I have to
I
make
see
a
now
note to
here
the select
Oh,
board,
see, that most of it is
public
concentrated
input to
here, so
them
that's
too.
nice,
just
so-
Yes, yeah. And a lot of
Word
it,
out.
it looks
Yeah.
like it's already forested, but
Yeah.
for succession purposes,
Exactly.
it's good
So
stuff,
people
yeah.
aren't
Okay.
tramping all over them.
Are you going to have something out there promoting you guys?
Yes. So
Sign this.
well, maybe that's a good question. I thought you meant promoting the event to potential volunteers. Definitely that.
No.
With ourselves, I mean, we don't have like any truck with signage or anything. Maybe we put out like a little something that just explains to people what's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't have a plan for that in place yet,
Okay.
to my knowledge.
How do you plan on removing the invasives?
So when it comes to Phragmites, which is something I've worked on before, without our organization, the NRWA, doesn't like to use herbicides, so we're not going to. When it comes to Phragmites, and even dogweed a little bit, it is very difficult to not use that sort of thing. So we could do, with the volunteers, teach people what the invasives look like, help us cut it down and try to pull them up from the roots, but they're very tenacious. So that aspect of the project, even though we can do a little bit with the volunteers, I wouldn't be surprised if they're back again later in the growing season.
Yeah, it's consistent pulling with knotweed, but
Yeah.
after a few years, it does start making a difference.
Yes.
And it's smaller and smaller, easier and easier to pull up, and it's just eventually stops.
Yes.
I did read an article though about honey And knotweed honey is delicious.
And knotweed is so beautiful in the fall when it's in bloom. It's a bummer that it's invasive.
Yeah.
It's so nice to look at. It makes great honey. Yeah.
Is that honey through the bees, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting. Different honey will from different flowers.
Yeah.
Like in
You know, like
Tasmania.
clover and-
yeah.
yeah.
A famous honey that's
Yeah.
from like eucalyptus trees that people love. Yeah.
So you're going to do the plantings when again? I'm sorry?
So that will be some date in April. We've got a number of these on the horizon, so it just depends on what volunteers can make what days. If we hear back from a group and they're like, this one works best for us, then we'll do it then. But obviously, we'll let you guys know as soon as we have a date set up, and we'll coordinate about any events in the park.
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions?
Nope.
A motion to issue a negative determination. The Peroni Park Nashua River Watershed Association native seed planting along Grove Pond.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes unanimously. Thank you so much.
Alrighty.
Thanks.
Do you guys have any other questions before I hit the road?
I'm good.
I got a long drive back to Worcester. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. It was great meeting you all.
Take care. It's nice to meet you.
Take care.
Well, that's pretty exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, like I said, I had that thought to myself. I think I mentioned it to one person. Like I just put the thought into the universe, and the universe brought me this lovely people to do the project for me. Yeah, so it's my hope, and I just would love to bring more attention to the park and just the whole view of it. I think besides people just going there for baseball, I don't know how much it gets used.
Well, they don't like to use chemicals. Maybe when we hit the second week of August, we can attack that knotweed.
I'm hoping too with all this planting too, it'll help with the fertilizers and stuff if they use that on the fields and stuff,
Yeah.
not getting all the way to the pond.
All right. Our next
Since we're here,
item
I
this
could-
evening is the request for determination of applicability, Old West Main Street and West Main Street right-of-way, Boston Gas Company.
We can just pull
The
this.
abandonment of existing gas regulator station, construction of new gas station. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Andrea Kendall with LEC.
Nice to meet
Environmental
you.
Consultants, likewise. So I'm here tonight on behalf of Boston Gas Company, which is affectionately known as National Grid as well. And they are proposing a gas utility maintenance project on West Main Street and then extending, I guess it's also, is it West Main Street Extension or Old West Main Street? I've seen it.
Yeah, so I'm looking at this is the assessor's map here. We have all three
Yeah.
basically in the same area.
So I was confused, and the plans that are in the package call it out as Old West Main Street, but then when I saw it on screen, I just did the extension, but I think regardless. So the package included some very detailed plans that even for me, it's a little
Yeah, there's a lot of
confusing.
there's a lot of gas main details on there.
But so I'm just providing this general ortho as we dive into it. So National Grid is proposing this gas utility maintenance project, which includes abandoning an existing underground gas regulator station. They'll need, which is located within kind of just north of, I think, is it 98 West Main Street or something like that, just on the east side of, I'm going to butcher the name of this brook.
On the north coast.
Gracious. Thank you. And I'll just pause every time I need to say it and ask you all to say it. It's on the east side of the brook and wetland system there. And then the project extends about 1,200 feet to the west, where they want to put in a new gas regulator station. And with that, they're going to install additional 8-inch and then a 12-inch and 8-inch configuration of these additional gas mains. Some of this work is within the riverfront area of the brook and 100-foot buffer zone, and but it's all located within the existing footprint of the road, and some of that overlaps with the proposed bridge replacement project over the brook as well. So National Grid has coordinated with those consultants working on that project to make sure that that crossing incorporates all of their future work activities as well.
Do you know if they're planning on doing that anytime soon?
They've reached out to me in regards to
Yeah.
the old one, so they can get going on the new
We
filing.
permitted it like years and years
Yeah,
ago.
they have to refile.
It's like 5 years ago,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Before the pandemic, yeah.
Yeah, they have to refile. So they've contacted me in regards to closing the old one out so they can file the new one.
Okay.
So with that package, I included, I guess, an excerpt from those plans to just show how the gas line is going to be accommodated in there. I don't know when National Grid is going to do the work, but they will time it, of course, with those activities with the bridge. And I don't know if they're going to start other aspects of it, but they can't, I guess, abandon the existing regulator station until the proposed one is placed in on that western side, which is outside the riverfront area and buffers. So ordinarily, this would be considered an exempt activity under the act, but with the bylaw in your is it 50-foot? We're submitting this application. And just as an up-close view, that second sheet, I put on the contours just to kind of show, and the wetland Mass GIS wetland line, which lines up pretty well with the contours. The gas regulator station is in the roadway on the east side, and within the buffer zone of the road, kind of on the northeast side of the road. And I believe in terms of the floodplain, it's all that's all pretty much contained within the wetland and stream system. So it doesn't, and I don't know if it extends just within the existing culvert or
Yeah.
with the roadway, probably.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
It's below.
Yeah. And so National Grid they would be putting in, they would be excavating. Usually that's usually have about 3 feet deep, 18 inches wide excavations. They'll be managing incrementally, moving along each day. They backfill at the end of the day or plate things, and then they truck. And given the urban setting here, they'll be trucking, putting the excavation probably in a truck or something, so nothing stays overnight. And if there are catch basins here, which I presume, they'll be putting catch basin inserts in, and otherwise putting in erosion controls, I imagine, within the riverfront or buffer zone in particular with the gas regulator station activities.
So with the catch basins, they're putting filter fabric or?
Yeah, there's something called these catch basin inserts.
That yellow,
Yeah, and
tarp-looking thing.
I might have included that,
Okay.
kind of those details at the end of the package. I may not have printed that out in
I just
particular.
needed to know the general.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know how the existing station's going to be decommissioned? It says underground. Are they just filling it, or are they just taking it offline and then leaving it?
Yeah, so they'll dig out and there are the details in there, but they kind of
Yeah.
like close off, they'll cap off, and then they'll leave the infrastructure in the ground.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of all the regulator equipment or just the piping exiting from the regulator equipment?
You work for National Grid.
I happen to.
I'm seeing here. We can look at the details. I don't know, I know that they're leaving a number of,
I thought it said something like remove subterranean elements. And then backfill.
yeah, on page 204. Abandonment of the existing station will involve the excavation and removal of subterranean components. But I don't think they remove everything.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll probably just cut and cap the piping, but in the regulator station vault or whatever you want to call it, I gotta believe they're taking that out.
There are some above-ground features also. If you go by the road, they have.
Yeah, standpipe or whatever.
Exactly. They'll probably remove things like that.
There's a note on the plans that said remove all regulators, telemetry, and piping from the old vault. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's right, right.
Yeah.
I think just shut down, I can open it up again.
How far away from the old station is the new one?
The new one, so if you look on this, it's about
Totally the other
1,200 feet.
Yeah, it's all the way to the other end.
The other end.
It's
Oh, the other end.
kind of where the,
Oh, okay.
It's going where
This
West,
one right there.
yeah, where old, where West Main Street extension goes, it's gonna go on that end. So it would, I think where the new one's gonna go, if any work need to be done on it, it's more or less away from everyday traffic.
And all the work is in the existing paved roadway?
yeah, except for the new one, it's within the right-of-way, but it looks like
Okay.
there's like a little grassed area, but that's how, again, that's
It's outside,
outside
yeah.
jurisdiction.
Yeah, the reason, so it's just an R days, because all the work is in the existing already paved disturbed area,
Right.
Right.
which is exempt under the act, so.
Any other questions? You gotta have a question, Mark.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to read this. So, what is the DP? Do we own this, or is this state? Is this 2A? So is this DOT owned?
I know the bridge crossing,
It's town, because the bridge crossing is being done by the town. And it wouldn't be state road going into Devon's, so I believe it's all town. I did mention it,
That's 2A though, right?
No,
So that's,
Yeah.
2A's Park Street.
yeah, 2A's Park Street.
Yeah, so this is
oh, okay.
something else.
Yeah.
But it's gotta be something, could they give us a bunch of, when we were trying to put up those signs, it was a,
Yeah, but that was over on the Fitchburg Road side, where we crossed the river there. After you pass Tiny's and Shop and Save.
I don't know, we
No.
put the sign up,
Oh, for
the brook.
Lucretia's
Right
Brook.
at the brook.
we mounted it to the guardrail.
Yeah, but that's not,
Well, we did,
State.
that went through the town though, didn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Was that just the town?
I think so.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I was wondering.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, this is all, it's all town owned, and I did mention it to Dan this afternoon about them coming for this project, and I guess they have been in contact with DPW on it to make sure that they know what's going on.
So
So
was
they
the-
have to do anyway for the road opening permits anyway.
So is the town repaving that anytime soon? Or are we just, we're gonna, Grid's gonna come in and do 18-inch cut and just patch, or are they going, Are they gonna repave curb to curb?
My understanding is that they, under normal circumstances, they just patch where the cut is. I don't know
Yeah,
what
I think they would just
arrangements-
patch. I said, I know DPW is aware of the project, they'd have to get a road opening permit. The town wouldn't do any sort of repaving of this road until after that bridge is done anyway.
That's what I was wondering, right?
So I would assume if it is on a list, I don't think Dan has 100% come out with his list for the paving for 2024 yet.
Okay.
So obviously, if this was on there, they would wait till this project is complete.
You know where they did the West Main Street improvements with the granite?
Yeah,
curbs?
that was
This is way out.
yeah, that's the other side of the railroad bridge.
Right, yeah. Okay.
And I would assume at some point with the sewage work that was done outside the fire station, repaving on this road would probably be in the list sometime in the next couple of years anyway, so.
Somewhat near term.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know how DPW works, just in my head, I would assume, given those patchwork that's already been done, that I'm sure they'd put it on the list at some point.
Yep. Okay.
Anything else? Anyone have a desire to go out there and take a look?
Seems
A lot of
straightforward.
shaking heads. I don't blame you. Anything else before we vote? Motion to issue a negative determination. Old West Main and Old West Main and West Main Street right-of-way, Boston Gas Company, replacing gas regulator stations. Anything else? I guess with all appropriate
Erosion controls.
erosion
needed,
controls.
yeah.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Passes unanimously.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
You too. Nice to meet you.
Oh, sure. Thank you. I always love growing my files. You never know what someone's going to ask for.
Duplicate, just in case.
I always hold on to at least 2 copies of everything until it's closed because someone might come in and go, oh, do you have here, take the whole packet. Might have extra. It happens.
Have a good night.
It happens. I know what we're doing. We don't need to sign it. We're sitting down the town.
That's yours, right?
I think. This anymore.
Yep. You want that?
No.
I'll put it in the file to have too in case somebody comes along asking to have it. You never know.
Next item is to review 2024 bids for invasive plant controls on ponds.
Similar to last year, we only received the one. So that makes it really easy. From Water and Wetlands, I have 3 copies of the full bid if anyone wants to have it and read it.
You have, I'm assuming?
I have, yeah.
And it's pretty much what we wanted?
So according to what the recommendation from the department report last year, that's basically what the recommendation in bid is for. With the final cost
How much cheaper is it?
coming out to, how much cheaper is it?
27,380.
Yeah,
And that's not including the add-ons.
that's not including the add-ons. Those are a separate item. But where are we at? Yeah, Pine Meadow was 39. Flanagan is higher at 16,880. Sandy Pond is much lower at 2250. And then the surveying of all the ponds is 4,300. So I think it came up to like 27 something.
2,250 for Sandy Pond?
Yep.
16,000 for Flanagan.
Yes, almost 17,000 for Flanagan because we're focusing on Flanagan this time.
And it's a whole pond treatment.
Mm-hmm.
And then a bump treatment would be spot treatment for,
Yes.
okay.
Yep.
And it's treated with both Dyquat and Sonar one.
Yes. Yeah, the Flanagan's, the bump treatment,
Yeah.
yeah, what you said, the lily treatment and the sonar. And then Sandy Pond just gets that D treatment and Phragmites and water lily treatment.
Does that include looking at that little strip in Pine Meadow? Phragmites?
Yeah, they have that on there.
Yeah.
We should charge those people on Flanagan Pond more taxes.
Well,
They really ought to.
on the,
All the,
you might mention on the Pine Meadow Pond, I think they just mentioned the water lily treatment,
Yeah.
and they didn't mention the Phragmites.
No, they didn't. I will make sure I mention it to
It's
them.
just-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. There's, I mean, I reviewed the budget for prior to setting all the warrant articles and everything for town meeting. There's enough money in the existing budget for the pond treatment for the last warrant articles to cover the first payment of this in the majority of this whole, to cover this whole contract.
Yep.
But going to the next year,
Right, we wouldn't-
to make that first payment's due before the next fiscal year. So that's the only reason why we had to have an article again.
Yep.
yeah.
Is because that first payment's due before the new fiscal year starts. So we're doing a year and a half at a time. I mean, no, we're doing a full year in two different budgets.
Well, we can't sign a contract and commit.
Yeah,
to
and
that
that's
payment.
which is fine. So everything's fine. I said we only got the one. I did send it to Solitude. I even spoke to somebody over there, and they're like, okay, and they never sent it. So I was like, well, I try.
They've given up on us.
Yeah, I hope not.
So much more expensive. They're always so much more expensive too.
They weren't actually, but they don't do as, I mean, they were comparable last year.
Not for as much, I thought.
Yeah, and they just, I mean, I think they just, and they missed out on details like posting and stuff.
I think because when we looked at alternatives, when we were looking at alternatives, the only one that does the hydro raking and the dredging is them,
Yeah.
Solitude. So I think maybe they're focusing more on the things that they're the only ones doing,
Yeah.
and not so much where there's competition on there, knowing if we've already gone with another company that the odds of us switching might not be there. But
I hope they don't
as a guess.
I hope they don't eventually swallow up water and wetlands.
I don't think so. At the conference, they were there. Water and Wetlands was there on last Saturday. So
Because Solitude did swallow up Aquatic Control Technologies. and
yeah.
Lucas Environmental.
Oh yeah, I remember all those ones.
Those were the two we used to have. And then
So did we have the Pine Meadow Phragmites in the RFP?
It was listed in there. I'll just make sure that we have that looked at, whether, I mean, again, if it
You
goes
think
up
they-
a little bit.
Do you think they probably
Yeah, it's just because it
meant
has
to
to
have
go
it in there, or
in.
they just forgot?
He might have just forgot. I'll just email Joe and just make sure that because you can't, you have to go to the trail to see it.
Okay.
But also like last year, we didn't have in there anything on water chestnut, and they saw that
And pulled it.
beginning strand on Flanagan Pond, and they just
Yeah.
picked it up, plucked it.
Yeah.
So I'll make
Feel
sure I
good about
mention it to him, because if it's something that I don't, obviously it's gonna be to look and see how we can treat it, right? So if the Phragmites are on the shoreline, you can only get to from Pine Meadow, but not from the actual water without cutting down natives. It may be one of these things of trying to figure out logistics of it too.
Yeah.
Did it say anything about Phragmites on any of the other ponds already in there?
Sandy Pond.
Yes, Sandy Pond.
Okay.
But you know, if they're Phragmites, usually there are other plants around them that are
Which
native
is funny, because the
water lilies.
Phragmites and water lily for Sandy Pond is at $7.50, and the water lily for Pine Meadow is at $9.50.
There's more.
Yeah, obviously.
But wouldn't the water lilies be the native plants that's most likely to be around the Phragmites?
I don't know aquatic plants well enough to tell you that.
Me neither.
Can I see that, Heather?
Yes, you may look at that. So I have the actual item on there, but again, we only had the one. Obviously, we've used them the last few years. They've done a great job of maintaining the pond so far. I'll make sure I mentioned to them about the Phragmites at Pine Meadow. And they always sign everything well, which I think they usually do the first treatment sometime in early May.
Or June. Maybe it'll be earlier this year
I
because
think,
of.
yeah, it may, I think everything's gonna be earlier this year.
Yeah, I guess when you pose the question to them, just say,
I mean, I'll go meet him out on Pine Meadow and show him where it is, because I know where it is. I know I've seen it, been like, I think that's that.
well, it's not so much that, I don't want them to come back and say, oh, well, it'll cost another $1,000 to do that
Yeah.
on top, and just like say, I'm assuming you just mistyped this because the Phragmites and water lily treatment on Pine Meadow.
Yeah, exactly.
It should be the same thing,
Should be
right?
the same thing, yeah.
Just
I mean, one
phrase it
pond's
correctly so
one
that they
pond's a
don't
lot
come back and
bigger
say,
than the other.
here's some more money.
Yeah, and I said, yeah, the ponds are the same, you know, so, it should be fine. I don't think it'll be a big deal.
Alrighty, do we gotta approve that?
Mm-hmm.
Okey dokey.
So is there a motion to issue contract to Water and Wetlands for invasive plant control on Sandy, Flanagan, and Pine Meadow ponds?
For how much exactly?
27K, didn't you say?
27,380.
27,380.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes unanimously.
It's a lot cheaper than the 100,000 plus that we found for alternatives.
For
something that doesn't work.
For one
smaller areas.
Yeah, for just say Flanagan, yeah, the other two. 100,000 plus.
Conservation Office updates?
Let's see. So I attended the MACC conference on the 2nd. Let's see what I did while I was there. I did 3 workshops. I had to leave early, so I did 3 workshops. One on grants, one on. Oh Lord, now I can't even remember. Oh, floodplain in.
That's really early.
Floodplain in environmental justice communities, which we are. That was done by FEMA and. See, I cannot for the life of me remember what this other
That
one
was floodplain and environmental
It was
justice?
floodplain. It was floodplains in environmental justice communities because
Okay.
we are more perspective to flooding because usually EJ communities are old mill towns.
Yeah.
I didn't realize we were EJC.
Oh yeah. Yep, we are an environmental justice community. Opens us up for a whole bunch of grants if anyone doesn't realize that. It's a whole checkbox. It gives you extra points on your grant application. That's cool. I can't remember the third one was for, and I apologize. I wish I could. It was a full crowd too, that one, but I can't remember what it was for. Come to me. While I was there, I did try to meet around with some other vendors and stuff that were there in regards to maybe finding someone we get seedlings or whatever from. That doesn't exist.
Really?
But I got the idea from one company was handing out just wildflowers in little like manila folders, envelopes.
Oh, seeds?
Yeah, so just do something like that when we have a conference.
Did they tell you that they weren't invasive? Because I've always asked people when they're handing those out at conferences, like, how do you know they're not invasive to the people?
I
that you're handing them
figured
out?
I would if I do them, I'll just put them in a flower pot and see how it looks, and then
I was just curious.
or just throw them out my window. And
People
just as
listen
I'm
to
driving
them.
by somewhere, and be like, "That looks bare," and just.
Well, it's always nice to be that, like you said, they can actually tell you, oh, yes, they
Yeah.
are not.
They are not. Yeah.
I remember
no.
when we went to Groton Fest, the folks over there, they were like, oh, yeah, these are actually from my backyard, and this is specifically what they were, you know?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I can't remember the company that was handing them out. I think it was a consultant firm that was handing them out. So I would hope that they wouldn't be doing invasives.
Just depends where they got them.
Yeah.
Here's some euonymus.
So that was then. What have we been doing? We've been working on stormwater items with the DPW and the town planner, along with some of the other projects.
Did you get my email?
I did, and that's when I've replied to just Robert on that to follow up on it. I haven't heard from him yet on that. The water, the dock licenses, which while I was at the conference, I ran into some of the members of the. Again, we were talking about that. This acronym is it's too long.
MSMCP.
Yeah, it's Massachusetts Society of Municipal Conservation Professionals. It's too long.
No, did you get my email on the stormwater thing, though?
Stormwater thing.
Yeah, I wasn't talking about the
Oh.
Chapter 91.
Oh.
I was at the transfer station yesterday.
Yes, I did get that, and I saw Dan's response to that.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he did respond to you on that. They are aware of it and they're working on it.
I was at the transfer station, and a woman came up to me and said, "You're on the Conservation Commission, you talk about stormwater. Our drain is full."
Yeah.
Overflowing on East Main Street and Linden Court.
Yes, what happened, I guess, when
Said I'd
they
pass it up.
when they redid that project,
Yeah.
that one was accidentally decommissioned. Disconnected, so they have to now reconnect it. So that's the project. They know of it, they're aware of it, they're working on a solution for it. But Dan did email you back
Okay. I have,
and told you to wear a disguise. You could find one at the swap,
I
probably
said
the swap shed.
yeah.
But so we're still working on stormwater items. We're going to looking at redoing the stormwater regulations with the planning board to make sure we're meeting all the requirements that we can, stiffing them up a little bit and making them a little bit neater. Tomorrow I will be going over to 26 Calvin Street, I believe. I have to double check my emails to look at some trees that need to come down. Monday, I'm going to your neighbor at 4 Calvin Street because he needs to put a deck on and then wants to put a fence around his property. So I told him, like, just figure out everything you want to do. When I come out to see you on Monday, we'll review it all. When I go meet with him on his deck, so I have to go look at it. I'm not 100% sure. He says it's extending it. He says there's a patio below. So if there is indeed a patio below where he's extending it, it may come a question if we would allow just administrative approval since there's going to be no additional impervious area because there's already a patio below it. He's just putting a deck above that. So I just have to verify that with him and then I'll come back to you guys for how we're going to do a sort of approval for that project. What else have we been going on? We had a lot of meetings this week. And, just other little side projects going on along on the side, not too much that I'm ready to bring to you guys yet, but working on some stuff on that. But
And Pine Meadow.
Pine Meadow, yes, I got distracted today by Marion's daughter, which is not a bad thing, to get to email that everybody to have them come hopefully to the next meeting since we should only have the 3rd Street on the agenda to have them come to the next meeting so we can talk about when we can go out and do trailblazing, and I'm going to order and hopefully have them in some new markers for beginning of April. I think, and I looked at the trails, the map that we have is blue, yellow, and white. So I don't think the white trails is long, that's coming in from Oak Ridge, but the blue and yellow ones, and then figure out how we're going to mark those going forward. But I'll get 50 of each of those and just start with that.
Do you know if when you're going down Snake Hill and or you turn right onto Wright Road, and you go straight into the gun club. There's a trail that starts on that road that's very well used. Is that conservation land in there?
Before you get
that's
to the-
that's gun club property for, okay.
Before you get to the parking lot for the gun club
Yep.
on the left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, it's maintained.
Yeah,
Logs have been cut.
yeah, no, I'm sure that's down. We don't have
That's
anything
just,
over
okay,
there.
so we don't mark that one.
No, everything we just look at right now is just right on Pine Meadow itself. Because, yeah, it does, I think as you're walking on Pine Meadow and you get towards that end, there's actually signs that will tell you it's private property. So whether the trail keeps going or there.
I was there today. I was on that
I could have
today.
sworn I've seen signs that say that over there.
Not that I saw.
Well, maybe I'm thinking of somewhere else then.
There is
Together.
towards Autumn Ridge.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking of then. But anyway, so I'm gonna get those in, and I'll see if we can get everyone to come together for the next meeting, so we can pick a day where we can go hopefully get those blazes out and start doing that. The Easter eggs are out on the trails. I don't know if anyone's seen those. I have been trying to spread the word to anyone that comes in and tell them that they're there. Just know that the commission approved it. It's done by a private citizen, but she said she did bungee cord them and she'll take them down that weekend after Easter.
Yeah, I was going to comment. I like the way that they attached them.
Oh, good.
How'd they do that?
Just they have this little plastic thing that says, you found such and such an egg, a color, with 2 holes in it, and they got a bungee cord with a hook on either end that just went around the tree, and so doesn't hurt the tree at all. It's fun. I found a bunch.
Oh, good. There's 10. There's 10 altogether.
I find 10.
I've been trying to get out there to go and see them, but I just kept getting meetings and phone calls today, so I didn't make it out there today.
Any other updates?
I'm sure there is, but I can't think of them right now.
Okay. Frogs were croaking away like crazy today
Oh, the
in the vernal
peepers?
ponds.
I haven't heard them yet.
Yep.
Not even the Ides of March yet.
When is the Ides of March? Is it
Tomorrow.
the 15th? Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was the 15th.
It is Pi Day.
Beware. It's what?
Pi Day.
It's Pi Day.
Today's pie.
Yeah, we have no
Yeah.
pie.
3.14.
Oh,
Anybody can bring pie. Any other updates from commissioners? Nope.
I got to see a bald eagle today.
Oh, that's
Oh,
cool,
good.
isn't it?
I was down in Worcester. You know, as you come like up 190,
Yeah.
kind of getting out of the city proper, and
Yeah.
then it's not Quinsigamond, but whatever that body of
Yeah.
water in it. It was
Where
a
the
little
Y is.
over here, but I was like, wow, check that out, you know. So going 70 miles an hour.
I see him in Pepperell quite a bit.
Yeah.
Heather and I went to the stormwater thing.
Oh,
at
yes, that's right, the
Did you?
stormwater,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
The stormwater presentation should be up on the website for the stormwater under the town's page, the stormwater utility groups section of the town's page. That went very well. I wish more people went, but I think with all the rain we're having, people are more aware of stormwater now, in hopes that they understand that we need to figure out a way to hopefully better control it and maintain it.
Yeah. The presenter was really interesting and kept
Yep.
it like upbeat and interesting. Like it could have been really boring and
Yep.
exhausting, but I thought she was great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was very interesting. I mean, I like
I enjoyed it.
I saw something on Facebook, which I'll send to you. I can copy it and paste it, but there's somebody writing about how, like box turtles, they keep to within a mile radius of where they're hatched, and people pick them up and take them home and then release them anywhere else. You know, they spend the rest of their sad life.
trying to find back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
That's,
that'd be like something good maybe to post, like, enjoy things. in
yeah,
your
don't touch. I
place.
mean, I did for the Springtown newsletter. I did do that little blurb about cutting trees because it seems to be the only phone calls or issues I get about. Oh, I want to cut trees down, so I did that little blip in there for that. I got something else. I was like, oh, I should probably put something on Facebook for that, and I can't remember what it is. But with the turtle crossing and everything coming up, it may be something that we need to start doing, maybe a more often presence on Facebook, just to let people know
Yeah.
things. Not that anyone ever looks at them or shares them, but you know, it doesn't hurt.
But a lot of
I
people
see it
don't
and go,
know
hey,
that.
I did that. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, we can do something as if we're getting to the vernal pool season and the salamander crossing and turtles coming up. Yeah, whatever way they're rocking, that's where you bring them to, and that is it. If their heads pointing one, that's where you carry them to.
Yeah. I
Do not bring them home.
know, it's confusing though when like they see you coming and they turn, you can't tell which way they're going, they're just with the
Do
roadway.
they really
You have
turn?
to
They have
enjoy them from afar, and then come up and sneak up.
Sneak up, yeah. It's like, which way are we going?
You get I sent you an email and a newsletter, a couple.
Yeah, they'll be sending out for final comments before it goes to like print. So when I get that, I'll proofread it through it again. I'll proofread it again. So you had some grammatical. Yeah.
Is this just a Word document or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you should be able to do
Yep.
a spell check
Yep, I
review
will-
thing, and it'll just kind of.
Yeah, I'll do that, and yeah, it'll before it gets put out, we'll review it because I had Jonathan from the planning board, who was also in the stormwater utility working group. I had suggested that we put something out on that too, so that'll be in there as well to hopefully reach out to more people on that. And if anybody ever has any questions about stormwater or anything, they can more likely, more than welcome to come to my office, talk to me about it. I'm happy to share information with them.
So really, the DPW accidentally decommissioned that?
Yeah, and it wasn't listen to DPW. DPW didn't do the work, right? It was whoever
Oh, the
was hired. Yeah,
subcontractor.
subcontract, yeah.
Okay,
Oopsie.
make sure I have that.
It's like, like my sister, the school she teaches at, the HVAC isn't connected through all the classrooms because, lowest bid doesn't get inspected. How do you find these problems after? I don't.
You wanted all
Just-
the rooms air conditioned?
You wanted it connected?
You want a stormwater catch basin connected to the rest of the stormwater system? Because I did get a call about somebody on Pingree Hill saying that on a corner lot, rainwater's collecting and is killing some of the trees. I'm like, well, contact the tree warden. Maybe it's within the town's buffer and they can take it down.
You wanted to talk about the trees that were killed.
Oh,
Think about your house.
yeah. So this is because of it's on Hickory, and the whole section of their backyard. Trying to explain to these people that where the posts that say you cannot trust, they keep saying, well, it's conservation land. It's like, no, that's your property. You just can't touch it. They don't comprehend that. They keep thinking it's conservation. It's like, no, that's yours. It's just protected. They don't get that, but it's okay. He's going to call the tree
We
warden.
protect it for you.
Yes.
So Stratton Hill starts up April?
Oh, maybe in April. We'll see. The planning board still, town planner still hasn't seen any new plans yet on that.
That basin right on Wright Road, it's,
I'm sure is it over full?
yeah, I mean, and it's coming over the, that little right-of-way path a little, it's,
Oh, right.
Is it crossing Wright Road at all?
no,
Oh,
it
good.
never does that, but
Okay, good.
there's the basin, and then there's what's supposed to be the town right-of-way
Yeah.
between that, the basin and the driveway.
Okay.
And creeping
I'll
over.
mention something to Danny tomorrow if he ever talks to Bob Collins to
Just-
see if he can be like, just as an intention with all the rain we've had, maybe we can look at
Well, I don't know that
pumping it
there's,
or something.
the last time they pumped it, yeah, and they've got some calls because they were pumping it up over the ridge directly down into the wetlands
Yeah.
on, whatever that pond is, Long Pond.
Yeah, Long Pond.
Yeah, so they could do that again, I suppose.
Yes, because I know people complain about, but you're allowed to pump rainwater directly into.
Just remember when they start going before the planning board, one of the things to stress is they're going to really need to fix that basin hole.
Yes.
in there.
Oh, yeah. No. That'll
Make
be
it functional.
comments from us. Just look at I had comments to the planning board in regards to 3rd Street for their stormwater because of the floodplain. There's just some zoning questions that have come up in regards to that project. That I did make the engineer aware of today, so he's going to look into that for me. So yeah, so the question that we all had about the not having the flood storage, I don't know if that's going to be possible or not.
Well, you said if the FEMA map, the draft
The
is.
FEMA map draft, it's really hard to read. I don't know if any of you guys tried to do it. It's hard to read. You have to take all the data layers off and then slowly put them back in because I hate this. The FEMA maps used to just be a plain topo map. And then for some strange reason, I think in like 2010 or whatever, they're like, oh, let's put the Google Earth image and then put the floodplain over. So once the trees are that you can't see an individual house, like it makes it super annoying because there's no lot lines. It's just, so in that area, because it's so tree heavy, it makes it really hard to read. So it looks like it got larger. And according to our floodplain overlay district zoning, any grading or filling is a prohibited use in the floodplain, which that property is in the floodplain, unless you have this certain certification. And I don't know if, and that could be reason to why we haven't heard back from DEP yet, is the question of that flood storage area. And I think that's, I know as much as we don't want to put it in there, but I think we're going to have to. Just because of zoning and everything else, zoning requirements and the flood storage, with the new maps, if they get passed, is going to increase in that area from what I could tell from them. But again, like I said, they're just horrible to try to read. But it did look like it got a little bit bigger. And one of the trainings I went to was in regards to grants and stuff, and one town buying back houses that were in the floodplain, so I was like, oh shoot, I should look and see if we have anything like that. And we actually don't. We don't have any residential houses in the 100-year floodplain at the moment.
Yeah.
Some of their yards may be, but no actual structures. This one is now going to be built up out of it, but it'd be pretty much one of the only ones in town that would be that close. Everything else is just Park Street, which is all commercial and municipal owned buildings. That ended up being in the 100-year floodplain. But so that we're lucky on that aspect, that we have the zoning in place, that we're not actually doing any of that construction. So that gives us a leg up as far as climate change and additional flooding's going.
Any other conservation updates? Is Robert going to join us at some point in time?
I hope so. I will reach out to him again. Maybe I can corner him in the hall.
If he doesn't at the next meeting, which is, 28th,
28th.
I would guess we might not see him until after town
After town meeting, yeah.
Yep.
realistically.
Sure. Okay. Anything else? Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes unanimously.